Hey, my name is PolishLynx, this is 1000 Lies, and as you can see, us Eldwine wants our chemistry notes. Well, it's not like we actually can choose if we'll give him to him or not, unfortunately. I'm afraid I would give it to him. The poor soul needs to be saved. Alright. My notes. Are you sick or something? It's me, the one who always steals your notes. I mean, borrow them, yeah. Gonna give them to me or not? I can't be the only one who's noticed Oz's personality change. He's been like this all week, ever since that meeting with the committee. Any good friend would be worried and would have asked him what's going wrong or how he's feeling. Thank God I did. I'm not one of those people. I have a slight idea what thoughts he could be harboring, and I'm pretty sure it's stupid, but I'm getting annoyed by all he's saying. I guess I'll risk it and ask him about it. It's none of my business, but what's wrong with you? You aren't the most fit to ask that, Sia. Everyone has their bad days. I almost ran out of empty pages in my notebook and I will have to buy a new one soon. For example, those 5 minutes it takes me to go to the arts and crafts store to buy a new one are always terrible. You have to talk to human beings, wait in line, stuff like that. Are you comparing shopping and an arts and crafts store with my issues, compañero? You have no heart. It's all your fault. What have I done now? Don't tell me that you're still bothered by what happened with Claire. Don't you see? You've broken the invisible device that ruled from lies. Now nothing can stop my libido from controlling my mind. And what happened to your bar on the beach, if I may ask? We're facing eviction because we built it in protected area. Those ecologists won't stop at it until they have had our heads chopped off. So, you've been thinking about it and now you're punishing yourself because being attracted to someone with the body of a little girl doesn't change the fact that you're attracted to little girls. Maybe it'd be easier if you paid attention to something that isn't a physical trait. I don't know, her personality, for example. Her perky what? Why do I even bother? You don't get it, compañero. It's not just that. We're supposed to be a duo, right? I'm the handsome, elegant, dandy one, and you're a... well, you! Me what? Finish that! Suddenly, there are a lot of girls surrounding you. Where does that leave me? I don't know. Quarterback. You're so funny. I'm serious! That's never been an issue for you. All the cute girls in the world belong to you, isn't that your motto? You're right about that, compañero. As you know, I'm a free spirit who's able to adapt to any situation. What I'm interested is your opinion. Are you going to take responsibility? Unlike you, I don't have a magnet empty in my pelvis. That so many women have suddenly appeared in my life doesn't mean anything. Love is a two-way street, CR. It's like that regardless of if you're on the receiving or giving end, even when there is indifference. I hope you don't think you have to adjust yourself to anyone else's preferences, even if it's hard because no one really knows their own preferences. So if I end up admitting that I like little girls, then I shall accept it and you should do the same! I think I can't accept this, that you would say you would like little girls. That's weird, man. That's really weird! That's weird! That's creepy! In short, you want someone to tell you that you're not a sexual predator that should be sent to jail. That's not all, but please do tell me that I'm not a monster! Can we have a little experiment to test out? We're always talking about hotties, but you've never mentioned where you draw the line for a woman to fit into that group. As long as they fulfill the minimum requirements, their origins, height, weight, race and cup size don't matter. Although, the cup size is a plus. And what's the minimum? You know, a minimum. Who has the right to define the features that make a woman an angel? You considered it 6th sense of mine. But there must be a limit, and I've come up with a way to test it out. We can start with some obvious features and move on from there. Listen to me carefully, okay? You have to imagine your perfect woman, understand? Your ideal girl, but let's change some of the details about her. You have to tell me if even after those changes you are still attracted to her or not, so we can move on from there. My ideal woman, maybe someone like Ziva, I guess. Terrible taste, but I'm not one to intervene. Let's start with something easy if you feel up to it. Imagine your ideal woman, but she's missing an eye and she wears an eye patch. Would you still like her? Yes. Which eye are we talking about? The left or the right? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. That way I know which cheek I can steal a kiss from without her noticing. Give me a second. I got a puke. You probably think you sound like Casanova or something. And if instead of an eye patch, it's a lazy eye. One of the ones that look everywhere except where it should. A good excuse for me to get lost in her gaze. If you keep it up with those types of answers, I'm out. You're just jealous of my poetic talent. The word you're looking for is ashamed. And what do you think about an unstable girl? Just like your ideal woman, but she's bipolar. Two is always better than one. Being with her would be like a threesome, think about it. As if you've ever thought in your entire life. Then what if she's deaf-mute, for example? Less talk and more love, what's wrong with that? What about the blind one? Who can see the important things with your heart? Burned. If she had half her body burned, I'm sure that you wouldn't be able to handle it. She would burn anyways, in the fire of my passion. No arms. Easier to hug. No legs. She wouldn't even need them when I carry her bridal side all the time. Besides, legs are inconvenient obstacle for... Enough! What's wrong with you? You don't care in the slightest about people's conditions or what? It could be Mrs. Potato Head changing her body parts and you still wouldn't mind. Hey, you're the one who's in love with plastic figures. As long as they're alive, it's fine with me. I'm starting to doubt that. Well, if it was a zombie girl, I can say that I wouldn't. What? Why are you looking at me like that? While I ponder about which distant planet my respect for this man resides upon, Ziva enters the classroom quite excitedly. As soon as she sees us, she comes over with her usual greeting. Hello, hello! How are my favorite guys? We were just talking about you, Ziva. I'm pretty sure that Dingus here is lying, so to prove him wrong, I have to gouge one of your eyes out. You don't mind, right? What? What do you mean? Gouge one of my eyes? What? What are we going to do if we burn? I was thinking that about drawing an eye patch on your face, considering I don't have a real one. But if you'd prefer that I really do gouge an eye out, then we can do it. Not a step closer. You're exhibiting symptoms of cerebral psychosis. Stop before... Ah! As I try to grab a hold of Ziva, she trips over a table situated behind her and falls on top of it. Cornered, I grab both of her wrists with one of my hands and with the other I remove a cap of the pen. Right, now we could try and see how you would look without legs. I will start marking the cuts just like a surgeon. Stop! Don't go putting anything down there, it hurts. Don't do it to me, no! Come on, stop complaining, this couldn't possibly hurt, it's not that big at all. Seattle. Oh my god, no, that's... That didn't sound correct, man. I don't care. What? We're looking? Wow! I should guess with the bad luck I've been having lately, but as I follow Ziva's eyes, I find a new substitute teacher, stonily watching us from the doorway. Oh my, let me guess. You came running when you heard Ziva screaming, "Don't go putting anything down there," right? The frightened teacher nods. Let me tell you something. It's exactly what it looks like! That's not true! Don't make it worse! They aren't going to believe me anyways. This way, it's more original and unexpected. Let's have some fun. Seriously, Indian? Seriously? After another of our usual incidents, we enjoy a free hour between classes during which we must spend time studying. Ziva takes the opportunity to get closer to me, sitting directly in front of me and dropping her books on my desk. If your idea is to actually study, you're heading in the wrong direction. The one with good grades is us. What's wrong with you guys today? Thinking that I'm some kind of model student? You know precisely why I'm here, Indian. Are you still mad about before? You know I love teasing you, so I wasn't going to do anything. Well, nothing lethal at least. Mad? Quite the opposite. You've shown a promised attitude that I've never seen before. It's amazing progress. I think I'm closer to a diagnosis now. I'm starting to believe that you're the one in need of psychologist. First it was the vegan thing, and now it turns out that you're a masochist too. I should have seen that coming. What do you mean? I'm not a masochist, and those have nothing to do with the other. Since when was being hungry fun? You see, we are totally related. A total masochist. I've told you a million times that. Forget it. I know John, you are trying to annoy me. Annoy you? It's just your imagination. And the traveling oasis, the shoulder to cry on for the dying man. Right before you got here, I was helping Oz get through one of his hardest times yet. What kind of problems can Oz have anyway? Something about his role and tasty woman. I remember him saying something about perky things, but nothing else. You aren't even trying to sound interested. You may not take Oz seriously because of how lively he normally is, but you shouldn't take other people's issues in love so lightly. I said perky things, not love issues. They may belong to the same category depending on the situation, but not in this case. Indian, the concept of romanticism can vary from one person to the next. Each is free to love in their own way, no matter how loutish they may be in the process. You aren't taking into consideration the amount of victims they can leave behind. Come on, don't exaggerate. Deep down, Oz is actually wonderful in his own way. Anyone who's with him will surely be lucky. Yeah, everything is happiness and rainbows until someone who gets hurt. Aren't you supposed to be super busy preparing 1000 things for the graduation parties? That's what you've been telling us all the week. Don't try to change subject. All the grad plans are under control. I will find more work as it comes. Let's get back to what concerns me. Why would anyone get hurt? We're talking about Oz. Everything ends badly with him. You know, like the hedgehog dilemma. It may be ridicule, but you can't get close without being poked. Oz is one of those people who's mostly concerned only with himself and doesn't realize how big his spines are. I don't mean that in a bad way, it's just that you're giving him too much credit. But this way, it's more interesting if they manage to finish the puzzle, don't you think? Puzzle. The opposites contraposition. The anima and animus psyche, where each term represents the true unconscious of women and men respectively. Well, we shouldn't take the gendered part of it too seriously anyway. It's mostly a way of exemplifying. You're gonna start one with your boring speeches, right? That's not true. It's really interesting. You must consider it a part of the collective unconsciousness. I mean, like a part of us that we absorb from the outside without realizing it. Ziva taps on my desk, with her index finger. 3 times before pausing. She takes a second to think and rolls her eyes until she finally decides how to proceed. One way of looking at it is as if you started in a vacuum, on a blank canvas. Your possibilities there are infinite. You can fill that vacuum any way you want. However, you have to choose. Decide what is most important to you and what isn't. Basically, find something to love. But how do you know what to love? Every single action in the world creates a contrary and incomprehensible part of us that tells us that which we wish to possess. The target for affections is forged deep inside of us without our consent. as intangible as our very soul, but more real than it. We only realize it when it becomes large enough that we must sacrifice those infinite possibilities we were given at the beginning to follow after that new direction. Although it's normal in the beginning to not really know what it is that you desire, which once again makes the target inside of us change. Living on until our next chance, repenting until we choose to fall in love again. And when the animus inside of you finally finds its corresponding anima, the pieces of your puzzles will fit together. When the spines of the two hedgehogs perfectly fit between each other harmlessly. With a frisky wink, Ziva ends her lecture, attributing herself a new victory. I rest my chin on the palm of my hand, displeased with how I always end up having to put up with her insufferable chattering. Why my whole life has been a lie. I thought that Animus was those Japanese cartoons. Die. Anime, that's anime. Can you ever take anything that I say seriously at all? Your spines are too long, so I'm scared. Please understand. If you say so, Indian, then it must be true. The bell signifies to the hour's end. All of my classmates start picking up their belongings and getting ready for the next lesson. Ziva is no exception. With her arms full of textbooks, Ziva closes her eyes and tries to remember an important quote, one she knows with extreme precision. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. Power and control over the possibilities of your future go hand in hand with your feelings. You can't separate your freedom from how you feel about others. It's an inescapable inevitability. It's during the syzygy culmination that one can do anything but choose. I want to believe that's why it was named the syzygy. It's not a word of psychological origin, you know. After cleaning up, Ziva takes the rest of her books under her arm. Yeah, I know, syzygy is an astronomical term. Exactly, smart guy. Sometimes you think you know everything. Well, and then, see you later. Ziva says goodbye with her usual grace, turning away from me to sit at her desk. Meanwhile, I lean against my chair, close my eyes and hope for some peace and quiet after the exhausting food for thought that Ziva had tossed at me. Syzygy. How couldn't I know about it? Huh? Okay. Moving to the next section of the game. The doors to the library open. It took you forever, for a second. I was worried that you would never get here. Then I realized that nothing of value would be lost if you suddenly disappeared, so I forgot about it. Whoa. Every afternoon, after walking through the doorway, that woman greets me with one of her insults, normally meeting my delayed arrivals with sarcasm. We promise to meet in the library every day and I do always fulfill my promises, but nothing is stopping me from taking it easy. And although she'd complain and attack every little flaw that I have, I always had the feeling that she was actually happy to work with me within these walls. That's why I'm surprised not to find her here today. As I wait for her, I fall asleep. When I wake up, I am surrounded by a specific type of silence that only a library could create. On the other side of the window, the sun descends in height and temperature, declaring that to the world that it's time to go home. But Lucy still isn't here. Or maybe she is, but in this dangerous area. I would check. I don't mind if she's tired of our daily collaborations, but I start to worry that maybe something worse has actually happened. And when you feed your mind with different possibilities, the worst always comes first. Maybe she did come. Maybe she got tired of waiting and decided to go explore the building, and had an accident in one of the more dangerous parts of the complex. This building was never finished. There's a huge section that's in ruins. It wouldn't be that absurd taking into account the terrible conditions of the place. My eyes gaze down the hallway. I consider checking the building before returning home just in case, despite the qualms I have about it. After all, how long has it been since I last set foot in that place? The first thing I focus my attention on is the dusty marble floor, with no footprints on it. You can pretty much see the lack of visitors those past few years. The doors raise a cloud of dust every time they're opened, and behind them I only find forgotten rooms whose furnishings have turned pale over time. My search is fruitless, soothing the weight on my shoulders at the same time as I condemn the uselessness of my worries. There is one last room to check. I stand in front of its door, giving it a sideways glance for a few seconds before deciding whether or not to enter it. It's the music room. Inside, I only find an old blackboard with the sole vestige of musical notes drawn between the lines of a pentagram on it. There are also some disorganized chairs and tables scattered carelessly around the rickety room, and a modest, upright piano set in the center of the room that had long ago culminated in the sounds of apprentices, professionals, and their instruments. I take a seat in front of it, uncovering the two-colored row that makes up the keyboard. Unexpectedly, my fingers begin to move on their own as they search for the keys. The first thing that comes to my mind is melody. "Hey, Giovanni Macaroni, where are you?" Or that's what I thought, until she shouts of a certain missing someone. Make me return to reality. "What? Why? What are you doing here?" Lucy peeks her head out from the entrance, checking her surroundings before entering. "I've been looking for you." "Why, where have you been? I've told you a million times already how dangerous it is to go into this building." "Oh, here and there, nothing important. I got here just now and when I saw the door to a hall open, I thought you were around here, so I came to take a look. I know that you can play piano. You're full surprises, Miss McPizza." I reply to her as I stand up and make my way over to the entrance. I can't play. My fingers aren't good enough for any instrument, it seems. Not to mention that this heap of junk must be totally out of tune by now. Lucy blocks the path to the doorway, with both a penetrating stare and voice. "Then what were you trying to do, if I may ask?" I sigh and ask for a wild gesture for her to get out of the way. The same thing that some untalented girl does, when tries to draw. Lucy smiles, moving aside to allow me to pass. "You should be more polite to the lady, Calzone. She's quite talented." I keep that in mind for after she decides to call me by my name. And what's the deal with Italian food names today? "Nothing, I'm just hungry." A giggle echoes within the deserted hallways as we return to the library, cheering me up about the unfounded worries I had suffered this very afternoon. "Well, do you know what time it is?" I was about to leave. "Come on, it's always you that's running late. I had some stuff to do today, so I was a bit late. Myself, but nothing too bad." Bitch, I'd like to know what had you so busy that it made 3 hours seem to only be a bit late. "If I could tell you, I would have to call the staff." What happened to that philosophy of yours about sharing secrets? Are you gonna tell me that some are more valuable than others? Secrets are as valuable as your determination to protect them. You know what's not a secret? That I'm going home. It's late and your stomach is already growling. We don't have electricity and you can't see anything once it's dark outside, so it's not like there's anything else. "Are you leaving already? I'd at least like to see if you progressed yet, and I can show you some of my drawings." Look at the spot you usually sit at. It takes a second for Lucy to understand, but once she realizes it, she finds a plastic folder with some sheets of paper each side of it. "It's the second chapter. You told me that you didn't even start it." It's not like I was especially inspired, but I managed to write something. You can tell me what you think later. "Pretty sure it's going to be dense and pretentious like the first chapter." If you're going to be like that, then give it back. I never said that it was a bad thing. Also, if you've been waiting all day to show it to me, that must mean you wrote it lovingly. I couldn't care less. I told you that I was about to leave. But you didn't, and that means something. Now I just need you to show me the story that you used to win the writing contest. The one you never want to talk about. How the hell do you know about that? I had my sources. What did you think? Okay. This conversation is over. See you. Oh my, I'm going with you. So then get angry. It's so easy to make you upset that I can't resist, you know. Then tell me who told you that. It's a lot more fun if you try to solve the mystery on your own, isn't it? That's why I'm looking at you. I already told you that I'd figure out what you meant when you said that writing's a necessity for you. If my opinion counts, you can take all the time in the world. How about I leave to you who my source is in exchange? You showed me the story you wrote for the writing competition and that you won. I'd rather find the culprit by myself than indulge you any longer. You could read the story and then refuse to tell me who the source is. I can't trust you at all. As you wish, but I will leave the offer open in case you get tired of searching. You aren't the only one who fulfills their promises, so have some faith in me. Just so you know, I don't believe that two people can truly be friends until they share a promise. I thought it was a secret that I had to share. Well, that's just between you and I. Okay. No, but will he get into a romantic relationship with any of the girls? That's the most important part. Reaching the Sun, Chapter 2. I see. So, foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory who wanted to reach the sun. Along the path he traveled, the wolf wanted to quench his thirst and fatigue by a stream. There he came across a brightly colored snake whose scales resembled a rainbow. The chatterbox reptile initiated conversation, ignoring the differences between reptiles and mammals. The wolf considered that she might be an illusion, for how could it be possible for anyone to have such boundless energy under the intense sun? An idea came to the wolf's mind before he could find an answer to his question. Could it be that the snake knew how to reach the sun? He had nothing to lose, and so the snake said the following. Reaching the sun, are you not ready hot enough? You seem too distant and reserved. In truth, that was the last thing I would have expected to hear from you, but listening to you makes me happy. The snake chuckled, making the wolf regret ever asking a question in the first place. My name, however, is Anxious. I'm cold-blooded, but don't I look warm in your eyes? I'm good at keeping company, said the reptile as she coiled around the wolf's legs. And what's your name? Are you cold or hot? I'm just a wolf, he answered, and that's what you can call me if you wish. The multicolored snake peered across the landscape with her gaze, upset by such a dull answer. Too cold for a warm-blooded animal you are, for they do say that opposites attract. The long reptile wrapped herself around the wolf, hissing with her tongue, and the mammal made nervous by such behavior asked Icy to keep it short. Oh yeah, the sun. From where I come, the desert, the sun is relentless. If what you wish is to find it, then it should probably be around here. The closer you are, the hotter it gets, don't you think? That's how I feel as I touch your skin. The wolf started to feel awkward and worried. He knew what about poisonous snakes and was scared of falling victim to such games, so he decided to excuse himself as quickly as he possibly could. So soon? You can see the sun in time, but we may never meet again. Icy fell back to the ground, slightly depressed. Also, I'm not so sure that you will be able to find it. Don't you think that it's too much for someone of your species? The wolf ignored the snake and her endless chatter. He said goodbye, thankful for her help, and left as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Icy was upset for having to bid farewell to a newly acquired friend so soon. The sun of the desert was big, huge, colossal. The sun would burn and slip through his fur. His throat was dry and his strength was draining from him with each passing step. Despite all of that, he continued on dune after dune, searching for a place where the sun might be a little closer to him. Such a pity that a pattern would only repeat it infinitely, each achievement would be only given the same prize. The only difference was how the sun would become more ruthless. What did he do to deserve that? Why that punishment? Something so cruel couldn't possibly bring any joy. The wolf fell to the ground, weakened and defeated. The sun started to cover him little by little, and he thought that he'd die there, buried until eventually melting away on the very spot. The snake was right, he was a warm-blooded animal, so that's why he lost before it ever began. Now he could only close his eyes and give up. Later on, however, he woke up when he felt a breeze that was different from the others. It was cold. The wolf opened his eyes and realized that night had come. Nights in the desert were cold, contrary to the days. He looked towards the sky, and there once again was the moon, bringing to him a present that his plentiful fur needed and saving his life. Now he could only smile, happy for the company that the moon was offering him. What could he do in return for her? He wondered. So he gathered air in his lungs and raised his head, determined. And a resounding howl covered the sea and the skies with profound gratitude. So foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory who wanted to reach the sun. Alright. So basically, with actually that story, with that second chapter of his story, let's end the episode here. And we'll continue with the game in the next one, obviously. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it and see you then. Bye bye.